mega fish stocks of supreme quality, unique treasures of shapes and colors one can barely imagine, some of which are well known and others yet to be discovered and brought to surface. A perfectly balanced ecosystem has made our northern waters an exceptional source of food for humans, a basis of existence for coastal communities today and in the past, a foundation for good health and prosperity, a major source of income for the whole nation, an attraction to visitors from all over the world. Harvesting the ocean is what we do and what we have always done. And by implementing new green technology, we are increasing the harvest, intending to provide even more first-class seafood to the whole world in the future. As 80% of the ocean remains unexplored, possibilities seem endless. And with a sustainable approach, we can prevent the source from drying out. Innovation and new technology, curiosity and dedication. It will take the brightest minds and some hard work to secure a sustainable and profitable exploitation of our common marine resources. But it is not an undoable task. The future of the ocean is in our hands.
Welcome to our program about food or feed. Only 2% of our food comes from the ocean. So we need to get more food from the sea, as some fish species are decimated. Right now here there's a seminar of all the other things we can explore and eat from the sea. This little guy, for instance, the calanus, is a small animal that feeds on microalgae. But there is much more. Let me show you. Sea lettuce, sea snail, snail scientist, sugar kelp, gamma-red shrimps, sea cucumber, marine biologist, seaweed rum, truffle seaweed salt, primary producer microalgae and microalgae scientist. We all know that we need to eat more food from the sea. And I'm here with Morten, who is senior analyst at Nofima, Øyvind from the Norwegian Seafood Federation. And Morten, how is the situation with our seafood consumption?
Well, a challenge is that we are not eating enough seafood according to national and international health authorities. So we need to increase the consumption of seafood. And a special challenge is that young people are eating less and less seafood. So we need to address that and find out how to get them to eat more.
And how can we get people to eat more seafood, Morten?
Well, you have several issues you can try to address. Some are easy and some are not so easy. One issue is price. Price of seafood has increased 3 times as much as meat in Norway, and that makes it difficult for the consumers to choose seafood. But you also need to find nice ways of introducing seafood to the young consumers so they can find seafood easily in the shop and bring it home and eat it.
And Eivind, you're round and about in the fishery industry with your members, and creativity and product development is also key here.
Yeah, and first of all, we have to start with ourselves. We have to eat more fish ourselves as an industry. The guys here, of course, it's better now than it was 5-10 years ago. You can see, you can try fish now, but we have to start and be proud of what we are and being ambassadors. And of course, creativity is also important. I've got two stuff here with me today.
Yeah.
This is Sate nuggets. You want to try? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. This is
Wow.
100% Sate, just
And
with
Sate is
yeah.
not expensive, Morten.
No, that's cheap.
It looks good.
Yeah, and also this is fish, small tiny fish cakes, which youngsters can put on the bread as a lunch product. It's quite easy and good as well. Yeah. So that's just two easy ways to try to make it easier for people, because to just give a whole fish to
It's not going to solve the problem.
to a 16-year-old, no.
Here's a Sate.
Yeah, you can't do it, and they did it back in the old days. But now, if you go with the shops as well, you have to do more products like this.
Ready-made. And as you said, the fishing industry, sometimes they are not eating too much fish either.
No, I have actually a year ago, it was a quite known fisherman. He's here, and he admits today that he did not do the best back then, because he had his new boat, and there was a large celebration with the school, and there was an artist there and playing and everything. And what did he serve? Hot dogs.
No, it has to start with ourselves. We have to eat more. We have to serve more. The booming travel industry in Norway have to put fish on the menu, because people come to Norway to expect to eat fish.
Something has happened the last 2-3 years, and I think it will grow. But we have to do more ourselves as well.
Creativity is one important factor, and that all of us feel responsibility to serve fish, buy fish, order fish, and give it to the young ones. Maybe can fish cakes make seafood great again? We've asked people here at the exhibition what is their opinion on the dilemma, food or feed?
The dilemma with food and feed is that, of course, we need to have a feed for human consumption, and a lot of what is used for feed today can be used alternatively as food. And of course, then it's better to use it directly.
Food comes first, should come first, and then rest materials could be used to feed.
One tradition at Nordfishing is this guy, Arjen. He's always here serving herring. And in this context, Arjen, it is important that we eat more herring, that it goes to human consumption.
Yes, it's a delicacy, it's healthy, and it's sustainable. Yeah. So why not making herring great again? And it might suit for sushi, like sashimi, and then we have to make small, tiny fillets without any bones. It's a perfect combination between feed and food, because the cut-offs are a lot of money worth for making fish meal and high-quality fish oils.
We need to eat more fish further down in the value chain.
This is a cultural problem. That's what's happening, for example, with bluefin tuna in Norway. And it is something that needs to be worked with. And I think that groups like Norway Seafood have some responsibility there to let people know that these foods are available.
There's a lot of talk about everything that we not yet have exploited. What's the status on these bottom things?
When we come to aquaculture, I think the capacity for growing mussels and other species in the Norwegian coast is huge, for sure.
We have a lot of space.
Lots of space, and everybody else envy us. So this is where it should happen.
In a way, we need a change in habit also.
We need it. We need a change in our food habits, for sure, yes.
I guess we should just expose people to more seafood, more species.
So once these products are both available and people know that they exist, normally they tend to try them, yes. So I think that in the first place it is an information problem.
Both information and attitudes, I guess, and preferences and traditions.
You know, maybe better advertising or promotion of the health of seafood.
Market it as more sustainable food for us.
So this is important if we are going to have enough food and use more for food and less for other things.
Exactly.
At Nordfishing, we are so lucky to have a brand new, groundbreaking report. And the author of the report is with us, Leo Grunfeldt, founding partner of Menon. You have looked into what we get out of the seafood in terms of energy, and how large portion is seafood in the total calorie we can use in Norway.
Thank you. So this report was originally produced for the Ministry of Fishery and Trade, and there is an increasing concern about how much food we can support our population, and traditionally it has been focusing mostly on agriculture products, but the Ministry wanted to have a broad and kind of full insight into what we can provide through fish and seafood. So this report is a small update of the original report, okay? And what it says is that if we look at how much we can consume and then cover the aspects of like needs for vitamin C and carbohydrates and stuff, and adjust the really large volume of seafood that we produce in Norway, we are down to approximately 60% of the energy that we need, okay? So it's a very large proportion of the energy that we need as a population can be covered by consuming seafood in Norway.
So previously, we have not really taken seafood so much into consideration when we're talking about preparedness and self-sufficient in terms of having food for the population and in times of crisis.
Absolutely, that is absolutely true. Most of our resilience armament towards crisis has been linked to the agricultural sector. But it is clear that the fishery sector is just as important, or maybe even more important, as a source of energy. And you also have to remember that in crisis, we are able to trade fish for other goods with other countries. And that's a very, very important source of trying to deal with crisis.
Herring, wheat.
Exactly.
For instance.
Exactly.
So does it also say something about the potential of production of energy from the sea?
Yes. So what we have done is that we have started out without thinking of a crisis, just in a normal regular situation. And the total amount of energy produced by the sea in terms of Norwegian energy demand or needs is approximately 67%, okay? That's in peacetime.
Yeah.
And then we add on alternative crisis and we draw down the production according to whether we are not allowed to travel the oceans or whether there is a deficiency of corn and wheat and stuff like we put into our aquaculture production. And then we calculate the share of energy we can deliver under alternative crisis. And at the lowest, we identify something around 40%. So it's an extremely important resource, and it has not really been investigated previously through other reports.
Yeah, so that's what you have been more surprised by, is that it's actually bigger than assumed, and looking into it, you see the potential that there is.
Yes, and not only me. There's a lot of people who come up and say this is
wow.
Really surprising.
Yeah.
Really surprising. The Norwegian Ministry of Health every year produces a food report estimating the total production of energy that is available for the Norwegian market. And they have always underestimated the seafood sector. Clearly underestimated it. So this report is quite important. Now, what is important in terms of crisis management is not the mere fact that you underestimate a source, but it is the fact that you don't provide a response strategy for maintaining the potential. So there is really no thinking around, for instance, diesel supply for the vessels fleet in Norway. We don't have such a crisis strategy. So it's very important that the ministries and the coming ministries start thinking about that.
Yeah, so actually what you're saying is that this report now opens the landscape of doing a lot of other activities to make sure that in times of crisis we can get this potential.
Yes.
And the infrastructure is not really there for utilizing it.
It is not there for utilizing it in a sufficient manner, but clearly it is quite easy to adapt to this because the transport lines between where you produce and deliver fish and where the consumers are kind of multiple. You can transport it by rail, by road, by sea, so there are multiple ways. So you can take out one infrastructure road and you can still provide it by others. And also, there's a lot of this is about how to freeze. How to freeze fish so you can maintain the quality. And we have excess supply of freezing capacity in Norway, a lot of it. So there is a large potential. You don't have to do much, but you have to be sure that you have solved the key obstacles. Yeah. And that's a very important issue. So that's also something we raise in this report.
And that's what we're hoping will come out of this report.
Yes, absolutely.
These things will be in
yes, both the industry and the public sector have to pull together.
And we have a lot of fish. I think there's something like 31 million meals every day around the world be eaten by Norwegian fish. But do you assume that this is the situation of underestimating the seafood sector in other large fishery nations?
Well, I don't know. I am really not sure. I haven't looked into it, but maybe.
I think it is, yes. But I'm not a scientist, so I don't have to answer to my thinking. But the most important thing, don't underestimate seafood. Each year, Nordfishing challenges students from different disciplines to come up with the next big thing. We have followed them during these days, and they are our next generation. There is a tradition of engaging the future generation in the challenges in the ocean, and we are now going to meet some of the students that are working on cases related to actual challenges in the fishing industry. Come along. So, what is your case? What are you working on during these days at Nordfishing?
Well, we're trying to take use of the residue from aquaculture, which means feces, feed spill, and dead fish, and trying to utilize this in a better way than we do today.
And what are you going to use this residue for, Marta?
We're going to use it to make biodiesel.
So is there a lot of competition?
Yeah, it's 4 great groups, so we'll have a tough time winning this one.
Good luck.
Yeah, thank you.
So, second group we're visiting. What kind of case are you 3 working on here?
We want to find out how to sort material and equipment in the fishery industry in a sustainable way, because today it's not good enough.
Good luck. Okay, another group. What is the challenge you are going to solve in these few days?
Well, the case was that we wanted to find a way to digitalize some of the fishing industry. And then we found that there wasn't a lot of reliable data on how spawning areas, where they are in Norway. So we're trying to find good, reliable data to find these spawning areas.
And that's going to be a very good business case, because if you can offer data of the good spawning areas, you know where the fish is.
Exactly. Our findings could benefit different stakeholders, also both fishing and aquaculture industry.
Good luck.
Yeah, thank you.
Ellie, you're in charge of this student camp.
Yeah.
And these are students with different competences. And how did you put them together?
We have decided to be working together so that they had no idea before they came here.
And then you found some real challenges for the industry.
Yeah, that's correct. We've got a good team of mentors with us who helped us make cases for them.
Yeah, and it is a competition.
It is a competition, and there is a prize.
There is a prize. And the winner will be announced in a little while.
This student camp is so much innovation. And the jury, we are really thrilled over every group. The winning team focused on collaboration to foster knowledge development that benefits the entire value chain. And the winner is group number 1.
What do you feel now after these 3 hectic days? You stand here as the winners.
Feeling very excited, but at the same time, like we as a group, we worked really hard. We put our best out there, and I think it paid off.
And Hanna, what did you find in your work?
I found it really interesting, and also as a biologist I'm not used to a lot of technology. I haven't really worked with technology, and we chose a technology-based case. So it's a lot of fun to see that a biologist can do something with technology too.
And Sigurd, the work itself, what did you present?
We presented a way to be able to easier monitor and find where the spawning areas are on different fish along the coast of Norway, because that hasn't really been done before, at least not in one map. Trying to get it all into one map, it's been quite hectic, but I think we found a good solution that's also feasible.
So the 3 of you are starting a company now?
Yeah, we have the start capital, 10,000. We'll see how long we can get with that.
Yeah, so people should beware of these 3. There is a startup on the move.
Yeah.
Tom Kirsten, do you think they should continue then studying, exploring this, or starting a company together?
Yeah, I think both actually. I always should start a company and they should pursue their master's thesis. They are pinpointing something really interesting, the migration of cod and other species around the areas that they live now.
Everything is in good hands with the next generation. What should we use as food, and what should we use as feed for the food we eat? I have talked to Yngvar Olsen, who is particularly interested in the species we know very little of. In order to feed more people from the ocean, we need to exploit new resources. And Yngvar, you have been a professor at the University of Science and Technology here in Trondheim for 27 years. And you are actually going after these little things in the ocean that we know so little about.
Yeah, the challenge is what you said now, that we know so little about. But there have been many proposals to start to exploit this without any knowledge there. And this is, many are against that because it's not a good practice to do. So we should know a little bit more about it, the production potential, how they live and how they behave down there, because this is another world in a way.
But what are the challenges in using these new resources? Is it that we know too little, or are they difficult to catch?
Both. Because what they realized when they tried, that they are dispersed everywhere, very low densities everywhere in the global ocean, down. So I think to make this commercial feasible, no. It will not happen in our time with known technology. But this is my opinion. But of course, some will try, and there are some concessions given now, at least one.
And I have been at your lab at SINTEF. You work closely with SINTEF. They have a lab where you can see some of these different little things that are in the ocean. And what are the lowest hanging fruits, Yngvar?
It's only resources on low food chain level that can be huge, not up there. So when you come with a suggestion of a fish somewhere from that could be interesting commercially, then the first question you must ask, what does it eat? Because if it's up in the food chain, the biomass is low. The production potential is very low, always. This is the energy law of biology.
Yeah. If you go lower at the low tropic, in the lower end of the food chain, can create a disturbance in the balance.
You know, I don't know who told you that.
Oh, it's an assumption.
But that's very normal. But yeah. I think it's the opposite, because it's impossible. We have done modeling on that long time ago when we started to look at Caranus.
Yeah.
And you can, and in the models we took away 90% of the spawning stock, and it was recovered in short time, in months, yes. But if you do that on a fish level, cod, it takes 40 years. But if you go down phytoplankton, they have a division time of 1 day. They are there the next day.
That's incredible. But what will it take to make this into human feed for us to eat?
No, it's I don't know of any people that are eating this small down there. And then, of course, the zooplankton is harvested in small amounts. The Antarctic krill, yes. Colonists, there are some harvesting, but it's used for medical more products and so on, very well paid. Especially the colonists is really not the food for us because we don't digest the lipids.
No, there are so many opportunities, and how should we approach them?
Well, I think we should, let's say, have some testing of these resources and see. There have been some assessment of the quality, and they say it's okay. It's a good feed resource anyway, and this is also requested. So I feed resources for our salmon or for other aquaculture species. And then, this is also things that we need to develop aquaculture.
Yeah.
Beside the fisheries. So a big resource from down there would have been very important. But they are also, as I never told yet, they are also the main actors that take carbon from atmosphere to deep.
Yeah.
They are doing a big job, and this is very well documented.
There are so many opportunities for us to find more food in the ocean. One potential is to use new species from the sea in order to get enough food. And snow crab is one of the newer species we have in our waters. And Monica Langeland, you are a fish biologist and you work with the snow crab fisheries. And what kind of fishery is it?
It's a seasonal fishery going out in the Barents Sea, and they fish normally between January and May. And it's very far up north, just with the ice.
Yeah, the ice barrier.
Ice barrier, and close to the Russian border and close to Svalbard.
And this snow crab, it cannot survive if the water gets warmer than 4 degrees. So it's really a rough area. And what kind of vessels, what kind of means do we use to fish it?
Well, they need big vessels because the weather is rough and you're far out. So the vessels are about 50 to 60 meters, and they need to be thick to handle going into the ice and stuff.
And this fishery is fairly new. We have it's sort of limited still in Norway, limited common quota.
Yes, they started fishing around 2014, so it's only been around 10 years. So we're still new at this fishery and learning things every year.
And we assume that there is a potential there, Monica.
Yes, there's a huge potential, and some scientists even said that the potential for earning money is as big as fishing cod. But today we're fishing around 20,000 tons. So we hope to double it and even maybe double it once more.
Because there are some other countries also fishing for the same species, the snow crab. Where exactly is it located in the world? Not only in the Barents Sea, but it's also elsewhere.
Yeah, it's Russia and Canadian. So the Canadians are fishing the most, and they're fishing 10 times as much as us.
So we think that there's a lot of snow crab there.
Yes, there is.
And what's the market? Where do you sell it?
The US is the biggest market, but Asia is growing, and we hope and we think there's a big potential in Europe. They just don't know about the species yet.
And how is it different for me as a consumer to the well-known king crab?
Well, the snow crab is a little bit smaller, but the meat is some of the same, but the smaller filaments, which is better, and it's a little bit sweeter.
So it's a delicacy that we still see can be a lot of food from the ocean very far north.
Yes.
Thank you, Monica.
Thank you.
Seafood is tasty and healthy, and now we even have a report that's saying it's more plentiful than we first thought. Here at Nordfishing, there is a dedicated arena to recruit more seafood lovers from the next generation. And they are our catch of the day.
Er det noen som vet hva den heter, den herren? Helt riktig, det breiflabben. Den har kjempestor munn, så tror dere den spiser tang, tare, plankton. Spiser fisk, ja. Vi må jo spise mer enn bare de enkelte artene. Vi må liksom utnytte det vi får inn, for alt det her er ting som er profesjonelle fiskere har vært ute i fjorden her og fisket og tatt med tilbake til mottaket som er i Ila. Her er en pigghå. Det er hai. Her er den jeg ville ha vært redd for når jeg er ute og bader, fordi den har jækla stor kjeft. Her, breiflabb.
Rekk opp hånda, de som vet hvilken fisk det her er. Det er ikke makrell, hvilken fisk det her er? Laks, det er laks. Rekk opp hånda som har spist sushi med laks. Ja, det er faktisk en norsk oppfinnelse. Det finnes jo ikke atlantislaks i Japan, så det var norske kokker som fant opp det.
Hvor mange har laget sushi før? Ja, se her, ja. Klar, ferdig. Sånn, ja. Ja. Wow! Så fint! Drag det bare helt super. Ja, ta dem ut. Nå kommer sola og blir det bra.
Stian, one pleasant tradition is for me to come out here outside the exhibition and order one of your lovely fish and chips from Kristiansund. So I would like to have one of the fish and chips.
That is no problem, and you're always welcome back.
And you know that we have been exploring now that there are many other resources in the ocean that we have not yet exploited. And do you think your fish and chips in the future will maybe contain something different, some other species?
It could be, but we would have both then probably.
Because you're very traditional.
Yeah, we need the real stuff as well, the fish and chips, but then maybe algae and fish would be, algae and chips would be a great thing.
Yeah. So if there is new resources, you're going to make some lovely food out of it.
We'll at least try, absolutely.
Yeah. And our next program will be about finding out how the fish migrate. Where is the fish? Take a look at this. One thing is certain, that we need to use more of the resources from the ocean. If it's fish or if it's algae or other kind of organisms. Or it could be lovely fish and chips from Smia in Kristiansund. See you in the next episode.